tech companies are connecting millions of users to travel experiences and activities across Asia and beyond. But in recent years, their world has been on quite a journey, from pandemic pivots to AI breakthrough and everything in between. That means companies like Klook will need to master the art of staying agile while keeping both travelers and regulators happy.
The COVID pandemic, it seems like such a distant memory from now, but it certainly had a big impact on both travel and tech industries. Klook, your company, is travel, is events, is tech. Is there any pandemic hangover that your team is still dealing with today?
Well, needless to say, the pandemic had a very, very severe impact on our company. We literally had to reinvent ourselves overnight. From 95% of cross-border transactions before the pandemic to during the pandemic, pretty much everywhere was sort of like just local market. For example, for those of you based in Hong Kong, you remember that by summer, everybody was doing staycation, finding things to do in the city. And for those of you who are based in larger countries, regions, you can sort of like have intra-region travel. One thing is that the digital operations and transformation, which for us actually began before the pandemic, but it has really accelerated during the pandemic. So when I joined the company and set up the legal team in 2018, we already had a dedicated legal operations function in the same year. So efficiency and operationalization has always been in our blood, even before the pandemic.
Now, Jerric, could you give us a little bit of examples of how exactly digital transformation is taking place in your legal department?
So the legal ops team, they actually developed a bespoke contract management system back then during like the 2019 and 2020s. So what made it special is actually brings the everyday tech together with our legal tools. So sort of like a customer service ticketing system and bring together with our work management system work matter management system as well. So this setup meant that our Klook legal team could basically run like a dedicated customer service center for the different business units, helping them on contract matters. So I'll say what definitely is a permanent change in that process is that process automation is now a core pillar for our legal ops strategy. Some successful implementation in recent years includes automating contract generation for better template control and also integrating various tools to automate DocuSign, so without needing to create them one by one, which is tedious.
Now, the pandemic is obviously over, fingers crossed, and but AI and machine learning have become such big parts of travel tech. What are some of the new legal and ethical considerations that were raised by these new and emerging technologies that you haven't had to deal with before?
The interesting thing about AI for our company is, again, as a tech company, we have to be at the forefront and understanding what's happening. And as a travel technology company, we also collect and process a large amount of personal data, customer data, travel history, preferences, payment information, and location data to a certain extent. So protecting our customer data is crucial, not just from a regulatory legal perspective, but also from a customer trust perspective. So what we do is when ChatGPT first came out, within the first month, we already set up our AI governance framework. We work very closely with our corporate planning team and our tech team to understand what are sort of like the key principles by which our users need to be abide by. And with tools that process customer data, we also have processes. The legal team also have helped design processes for the approval of like onboarding of new tools. Firstly, the lawyers from our team will look at the T's and C's, making sure that we understand how the tool works. And then our lawyers will talk to our security team to understand what kind of data are being processed by those tools.
How often do user experience need to give to legal compliance in that process?
We are a very agile company. And as a tech company, we work very, very closely with our product teams. So our approach has always been getting legal involved right from the start of every initiative, from the planning phases. To make this really work, we often have a dedicated sort of like small group of lawyers working directly with the specific business teams or with the product teams from very early on. This allows our team to truly understand the project's in and outs, the goals, and also the pain points. Now, in order to become a true partner of the business teams and our product teams, our lawyers not only need to understand the commercial objectives, but we also stay true to our company value, which is customer obsession, right? What this means is our lawyers are being trained to consider the customer angle at every juncture of these initiatives, not just the sort of like the compliance angle, so to speak. And in particular, our tech and privacy colleagues they often strike a very fine balance between customer experience. For example, not having too many checkboxes that customers need to tick before you proceed to purchase or open an account with us, right? Versus complying with laws of any particularly highly regulated markets where you might actually have like 20 checkboxes that you need to tick. So our lawyers always think about how does our decision affect the customer experience and try to balance the two.
So where do you see legal departments in general headed digitally in the next few years? What's your vision?
I think the key point is we need to identify and stay true to the fact that we're trying to use tools to resolve a problem, right? So we have to identify the problem first before we decide sort of like which tool do we sort of like invest. The second aspect of the digital strategy is our talent. So right now we're talking sort of like AI, but at the same time we have to have humans that are trained to use the new tools. So one thing that I'm very proud of is our team is very receptive to exploring and adapting to new tools. For example, our tech and privacy lawyer, he also acts as our AI champion, who from time to time would actually update the team on best practices, suggestions on tools, or even the best prompts to use when you use a generative AI, right? So this really helps us to build a habit and a mindset within the team that we have to stay at the forefront of any digital and technological innovations.
Jerric?
We need to be sensible regarding the tech selection. We don't just jump straight in. We use a clear way to compare different tools and make sure that they will play nicely to our existing systems as well. So it's crucial that everything works together smoothly and not just as a bunch of separate pieces.